For Wills.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. This motion purports to celebrate the government's $1.5 billion modern manufacturing strategy, with space as a big part of that, the space sector and industry. There's a slight bit of hypocrisy in all of this, I should say, Deputy Speaker. The motion notes that 6 national priorities in the government's manufacturing plan include space. Now, we all know and we've heard that the Australian space industry has a proud history. We've been part of every deep space mission with NASA has ever flown, going back to 1957 with the establishment of the Woomera facility in South Australia. In 1962, the CSIRO Parkes telescope supported NASA's Mariner 2 mission. And of course, we all know about the Parkes and Honeysuckle Creek, which played a vital role and a famous role in humanity's great adventure to the moon. So of course, I think we all agree we want to see Australia be part of exploration of space in the 21st century, be a leader in this space, be part of the future, be able to participate in a $1 trillion industry which will provide enormous opportunity for Australians and particularly our science and STEM professionals. But let's take a closer look at the basis of the motion, which was the $1.5 billion modern manufacturing strategy which the government announced in October last year. Space being one of them. They promised that this investment would go to 6 key target areas: resources, technology and critical minerals, processing, food and beverage, medical products, recycling and clean energy, defence and space. And they promised that this program would spend $1.5 billion over 10 years, would create 380,000 direct and indirect jobs. And the Prime Minister promised to spend $48 million to create 2,600 new manufacturing jobs in the 2020-21 financial year. This financial year, the one ending in 7 days, Deputy Speaker. Now, the Prime Minister has actually spent $79 million. Wow, that sounds good. It's more than the 48 that he promised. And he's spent it by, will have spent it by 1st of July. Guess what? He created, with that $79 million, 78 manufacturing jobs. 78 jobs. That's more than $1 million per job. Don't worry, Prime Minister, you've still got 7 days left to create the other 2,522 manufacturing jobs to reach your government's target. But, Deputy Speaker, we shouldn't be surprised by this, because this government doesn't really believe in backing Australian manufacturing. It's actually not in their DNA. The fact is that since this government took office with Prime Minister Tony Abbott, we have lost 90,000 jobs in Australian manufacturing. Let that sink in. 90,000 pairs of boots hung up. The government dared, they goaded car manufacturers to leave Australian shores, and they did. Hundreds of workers in my electorate of Wills lost their jobs when the Broadmeadows Ford factory closed in 2016. The Department of Industry's own estimates show that 50,000 Australian manufacturing jobs were lost just last year. 50,000 jobs gone under their watch in 1 year. And the government's own budget forecast papers have said that there's a cut to real wages over the next 4 years. For a manufacturing worker, that is a cut in real wages of $7,800. Fewer jobs, lower wages, and no vision for the future. You can put up as many motions as you want, but your record, this government's record, is one of neglect. Under this government, unlike this government, I should say, Labor actually has a vision for a future made in Australia. We want Australia to be a country that makes things. We have a plan to do it. A Labor government will deliver a $15 billion National Reconstruction Fund to fund projects that will create secure, well-paid jobs, rebuild our local manufacturing industry and capacity, and make Australia more competitive and more self-sufficient. A Labor government will deliver an Australian skills guarantee to make sure 1 in 10 jobs on major federal infrastructure projects are given to apprentices, trainees or cadets. A Labor government will make more trains in Australia with our national rail manufacturing plan and ensure every dollar of federal funding spent on rail projects creates local jobs. A Labor government will deliver a defence industry development strategy to ensure the money, the $270 billion invested in the sector, uses local workers. Only Labor will deliver the investment and leadership to rebuild Australian manufacturing, because we actually believe in it. We believe in creating good and secure jobs, and we believe in making Australia more competitive and more self-sufficient.
The question